Welcome to Everyday Linux User. Today I'm going to be reviewing Fedora OS. So let's start, as always, look at the website for Fedora. So here it is the website fedoraproject.org, and as you can see it says, an innovative platform for hardware, clouds and containers built with the love by you. And it's 100% free and open source. And so there's 5 editions available: Workstation, Community Server, IoT, Internet of Things, the Fedora Cloud, which is a light VM environment, and the Container Optimized OS. So the one I'm reviewing today is the Workstation. So if we click on Learn More, why Fedora Workstation? Reliable. Each version is updated for approximately 13 months, and upgrades between versions are quick and easy. It's beautiful. It's carefully curated to deliver a high-quality experience. The desktop is clean and uncluttered. Leading technology. It's free and private. There are no ads, and your data belongs to you. Trusted, developed in partnership with upstream projects, rigorously tested, and backed by Red Hat. Makes the most of your device. Fedora works with hardware vendors to make excellent hardware support across a range of devices. So you've got fantastic apps. Workstation speaks your language. You can turn the lights down. Online account integration, help full out of the box, etc., etc., etc. And let's leave that alone now. So why Fedora? Back to our old friend distrowatch.org, and in our list, Fedora is now number 5 on the list. And so I've got reviews for MX, Endeavour, Mint, Manjaro, Pop OS, Ubuntu, and I've also got Elementary, and so today it's Fedora. So let's begin. I'm going to get the bad stuff out of the way first. It's number 5 in the list, and when I go online to watch other YouTubers, and I look on Facebook groups, and I look on other community groups, everyone raves about how good Fedora is. And so I want to get the bad stuff out of the way first. The installer is archaic. I never liked it when it was first released, and I still don't like it today. It feels random. It feels like you're not really sure exactly what it's going to do. It does always seem to do the right thing, but I always feel like it's more luck than judgment. You look at some of the installers out there, and it's a nice linear approach. It says you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. For instance, you're going to choose your installation language, keyboard layout, you're going to choose your time zone, you're going to set up your disks, you're going to choose your username, and you're going to install. And a lot of them have, when you're installing, if you've got another operating system, it's going to say install alongside that operating system, or erase and install the operating system that you're going to use, or something else. And the variations may differ, but Fedora, wow, the installer, I'm not keen on that at all. Number 2, this wallpaper, it's not nice. I don't like it. And what's worse is if I right click and do change background, none of them are particularly great. I don't like any of them. I might lean towards that one, I guess, if I had to. But yeah, none of them are as I would have them. Okay, it's not a major thing. You can install your own wallpapers. Then we have the fact it's GNOME. I'm not a huge fan of GNOME, and mainly because it's slow compared to other desktops. But what I would say with Fedora is GNOME for Fedora is significantly faster than I've seen it on other Linux distributions. And that's probably because of Wayland integration. And it's not using snap packages, it's using Flatpaks, or you've got the Fedora packages as well, that you install via DNF. So yeah, it's definitely significantly faster than Ubuntu. There are downsides to Wayland, like I don't know how much this will affect you guys, but when you're reviewing videos, you have to do a screen recording of the screen and what's going on, and trying to find a screen recording package and set it up so it actually records what you're doing is actually very hard. None of the ones I like Vocus Screen or Simple Screen Recorder, and even OBS takes some setting up. None of them work that well. Whilst trying to do the install video, I had to end up doing it on my phone because obviously when you're on a live install, you haven't got you can't install to disk, you install into memory, and the only packages available to install that work, like OBS, are Flatpaks. So if you start trying to install a 1.5 gigabyte package into memory before you start the installer, you're going to run out of memory before you even record or install the operating system. So from a reviewer's point of view, trying to do an install video, I had to do it the old school method of pointing a camera at the screen, which I really didn't like. And even recording this, setting up OBS was not a trivial matter. It took a bit of setting up, but I've managed to do it. I think I have. If not, this video is going to be very short, and I will probably do a rant video saying how rubbish this is. But here we are. This is Fedora, and it's GNOME. And another problem I had was with my keyboard. So when you're using GNOME, you can press the Windows key, and it does this. So basically, you get your workspaces, and then you've got the dock at the bottom in this case. But in some of them, you have them on the left-hand side. That's trivial. But when I first ran Fedora, my keyboard Windows key wouldn't work. And it turns out, it's another video, but if you press the function and the Windows key, it then activates the Windows key so it actually starts working. Now, I've not had this in any other distribution, and it can't be just a pure GNOME thing, because it's worked on other distributions for GNOME. So a Fedora thing, or is it part of the latest GNOME? Is it just a glitch? I don't know. So the bad things out of the way: installer, screen capture video issues, and not the prettiest desktop wallpaper, and the fact that it's GNOME in the first place. So with that said, here we are. This is Fedora, and as I said before, if you press the Windows key, you get the workspaces, and if you want to see what applications are installed, you press this button here, and you can see you get most of the core GNOME apps. So I've got contacts, a weather app, clocks, maps. You get the LibreOffice suite, or most of it. You've got Calc, Impress, and Writer, which is spreadsheet, PowerPoint type app, and then word processor. Got video player and Rhythmbox audio player. So in terms of applications, it comes with some good ones already built in. OBS Studio I've installed myself for the purposes of this of recording this video, as I mentioned previously. And you've got this tour down here which gives you a tour of GNOME. There's only one page of apps, so that's why it hasn't gone on to two. You normally have two dots if there's another page of apps. You've got this boxing thing here which you can do with GNOME. So if I want to put all the LibreOffice stuff together, I can drag one on top of the other, and as you can see, all the Office going to the Office thing, and it actually puts the word Office underneath, which is quite good. You've got a terminal, text editor, etc. And you've got this help. Okay, so first of all, let's look at some hardware support. So I inserted an external hard drive, and you can see that's popped up there, so that works quite well. And the reason for that is we're going to put some pictures across, if I can find some. So get some pictures, and let's see what we can find here. So I put some pictures across into a folder, and we'll use that in a minute for the Photos app. We're going to take some music as well. Let's have some Cradle of Filth, some Cult, and some Kaiser Chiefs. Let's copy that, put that in the music folder. I've already got some videos online. So what we're going to do here is we're going to test Photos app, we're going to test Videos app, we're going to test Music, and we're also going to test some Bluetooth. So let's start off with the Photos. So press the Windows key, bring up the apps. Incidentally, if I escape out, the way GNOME works, if you press Windows and App, you bring up the apps. So it's very keyboard oriented, so it's quite easy navigation. And you can see all my photos have imported, and this is obviously from a summer holiday at some point in time. I can't even remember where it is. I think it's probably in America. But yeah, so you can zoom in, and yeah, that's St. Pete's Beach in America, down on the Gulf Coast there. Yep, so the Photos app works okay, and it's the default one that you get with GNOME. And if I press that button, I can select multiple items like this, and then you can do various things with it, like so I can delete it. I can add it to an album. So call it St. Pete's. Click OK. And now I've got a St. Pete's Beach album. Obviously, I've only selected a few of the photos there. So you can double click and then you can use the left and right arrows to zoom through. And you've got this button down here. It zooms in. And you can open any of them with Image Viewer, or you can set it as a background screen or the lock screen. Or you can print it and you can export it. So if I set that as a background, like so, when I close out, now that is my Fedora background, which is actually much nicer than the one I had before, even though it's just the roof of a building and a beach and a hotel to the right. So that's that. Let's have a look at the Bluetooth, see if that works. So what I'm going to do is turn on my Bluetooth speaker. I'm going to go up into the top right hand corner. I'm going to click on Bluetooth, click on that arrow, Bluetooth settings, and you can see I've got this cylinder BT, and you heard the connected sign there. So I didn't really have to do anything. There we go. You can see that when it's like that, it's connected. So if I come out of that now, I should be able to go to my audio app. So we'll do that and we'll click on Rhythmbox. And it should automatically find my music because it's in the music folder. I might have to click on import first. And there you go, it's there. And now I can go to my music. Go to my music. Is it going to show up? Helps if I actually click the import button, doesn't it, everyone? There we go. Now I've got all my music and I can pick a particular artist, The Cult, Cradle of Filth. And if I play a song, we'll play that one as one of the better hits, it should come out of my Bluetooth speaker. And hopefully you heard that coming through. I will turn that off now. Demo finished. The next step is to, I can also play it through my speakers here, I think. So what I'm going to do is go to Bluetooth and I'm going to turn that off. We can add our own playlists in. So you can do an automatic playlist. So I can do it where genre contains no point doing metal because they're all metal. Let's do black metal. And we can say limit it to 10 songs. We'll sort it by genre, and we'll just click new. As you can see, it picked 10 songs. Now I've only got one thing that's probably black metal here, so it's picked all the songs on the same album. So that's what you've got there. We've also got podcasts that you can add in. So could search for podcasts. So a good one here, Linux. And then you can see all the Linux podcasts available. And you can subscribe, and that will start downloading episodes of the podcasts. You've got online radio stations. And if you have Last.fm or Libre.fm, you can use that. So, but this isn't a Rhythmbox review. This is a Fedora review. But as you can see, it's a good music player to have with part of Fedora. And we'll now move on to the videos. As you know, when I did a Ubuntu and the recent Pop OS had problems with the video app. This is the video app. And you can see I've got a few videos in here. So I could start this one, which is part of this video. So if I click that, you can see the way OBS works, but this is actually the video. So that is playing. So we'll stop that now. So far so good. Let's look at the printer situation. So in this case, I want to go applications, and I'm going to go to settings, and see if it picks up my printer. I click on this, and you can see my printer is actually there. And we can prove this fact by going to LibreOffice, putting up Writer. If I go File and Print, it picks up my printer, and when I click Print, it will print. I'm not going to do it because I'm actually out of paper, believe it or not. So I'll close that. So everything thus far is working quite well. It's got a decent set of applications to start with, and another one is Boxes. Boxes enables you. It's a bit like VirtualBox. You can run different operating systems under Boxes. That's a video for another day. How do you install applications? Well, Fedora comes with the GNOME package manager, so I can click on this icon here, software. Now, part of the setup asks you whether you want to enable third-party repositories, and I clicked yes. So it's important that you do that. But you can go into the software repositories here, and it will show you what's enabled. And you can see I've got Fedora Flatpaks enabled, Fedora. I installed the OpenH264. That enables me to watch set videos. I've got firmware updates, enable third-party repositories, and key ones down here are the non-free ones. So I've got RPM Fusion for Fedora 38, non-free, it's NVIDIA, and you've got the Steam one as well. You can install other RPM Fusion repositories, but yeah, that's how you can install your third-party repositories down there. And now let's see what's available. So you saw Chrome was an option as a thing there. So there's two. There's this one here at the top. So you can install Chrome using the RPM, or you got Chrome here from FlatHub, or you've actually got the dev unstable version as well. So what I'm going to do is install the RPM one. As you can see, it's installing. So that's actually quite an easy install. So as GNOME goes, actually Fedora is doing this really, really well. I'm not going to complain about this at all. Um, this is the first actual GNOME version of a Linux distro that I've seen all the actual Google tools working properly. So the video app's working. Quite often I see that not working, and it was easy to install the codec. It said the H.264 codec isn't installed. Do you want to install it? Which is great. That's what you want to see. If it isn't installed by default, it enables you to install it. And as you can tell, I haven't had to use the terminal yet, so that's a positive. If I open that up, and compared to Ubuntu and Pop OS, it was really quick. You saw that little flicker there? That's a Wayland feature, I think. So there we have it. That's Chrome working. See what else we can find. Can we find Spotify? These are obviously the tools I like. This is a standard I use for every video. Does it have the things that I would use? And I can't believe that I'm that uncommon that I install things that other people don't install. So it's got to be said, it's fairly quick to install these things. I'm more impressed by Fedora than I think I've ever been. The only thing that's really let it down for me is that installer. So Spotify is installed down here. Oops, looks like Spotify crashed. That's not a good sign. Let's see. I know for Pop OS I had to restart the computer to get Spotify to work. Is that going to be the case again? We'll do something else and then we'll worry about Spotify. So I searched for Steam here. So if I double click on Steam, there's two options available. There's the RPM Fusion or the FlatHub. I'm going to install the RPM Fusion. It's going to be smaller. So now Steam's installed, so I'll click that and it will start the update. There you go, updating the Steam runtime environment. Just take a little while, and once it's done this, it'll do the update on the black screen that it normally does. Let's look in the develop section. We've got PHP Storm for PHP development for sadists, IntelliJ Java, and then we've got PyCharm for Python, WebStorm for JavaScript. I don't think they're community editions, are they? So IntelliJ is a community edition. PyCharm is a professional edition, which means it's paid for, I'd have thought. You see Steam is now installing. Is Visual Studio Code available? Interesting, there's not a search on every single screen, so I have to go back here to get to the search to VS Code. And there you see it's there. So you've got three. Visual Studio Code, VS Codium or OSS Code. This is the free one that's not linked to Microsoft. This is the Microsoft one. So I think if we have a look at that, there's a FlatHub for that, and that's all you've got. But if you go to the OSS Code, there's also only a FlatHub. So in that case, you may as well install the Microsoft one. It says download size 92 meg. So here we are in PyCharm, and this is PyCharm Professional. And you see it's a 760 meg download. Worth pointing out, PyCharm and IntelliJ and all these other ones and Storm are built by the same people that came up with Richard for Visual Studio. It is a really professional IDE, so yeah, really, really good. So I've rebooted now. Let's try the Spotify client. As you see, it's working. As you can see, I'm in my British Rock Gods playlist, and it works perfectly well. So Spotify is working fine. I want to talk a little bit about GNOME before I sign off. I'm going to do a separate review of GNOME because I did one of KDE and it deserves it because there's a lot to GNOME. I quite often say it's not my favourite desktop environment, but there is a lot to it. There's a lot of hard work gone into the applications, and some of the applications are really, really good. It's just not my preference when it comes to choice of desktop, but I appreciate for some people it would be. So let's have a look. So you can navigate around. You can click this. I've got a hotspot in the corner, and that is up with Fedora. But you've got this activities button here, and you can scroll through the different activities. And if I open a application, for instance, clocks, I can then drag that and snap it to the side. I can snap it to the side. I can maximize, I can minimize, I can drag it along, and I can. You'll see there's a workspace that happened to the right now. I can drag it over like that, or I can just put it onto. I can click that workspace there. I can drag that to that workspace. I should be able to. There we are. And as soon as I go over to that workspace, I can go to another one, and you can see I've now got multiple workspaces. So there we are. So now on my second workspace, and you can see OBS Studio doing its thing there, and I've got this clocks thing here. So you've got workspaces. I prefer the KDE ones, I think, in terms of navigation, but this is decent as well. You can search for applications, so if I want Firefox, search, and it's quite quick. Fedora makes this work really well, has to be said. I think it might be Wayland as well that's making it work really well. They go hand in hand perfectly. So yeah, this is the same machine that I reviewed Pop OS and Ubuntu on, and they're chalk and cheese in terms of performance. This bar down here on other distros, get to the left hand side or the right hand side, and there's all these apps that you get with GNOME. For instance, just contact weather, the clocks, the maps, the photos, the videos, the calculator, document scanner, the settings, the system monitor, boxes. All of these are native to GNOME, and therefore that's what makes this a good desktop environment. So I just wanted to say that about GNOME. It's not as customizable as KDE or XFCE or some of the other desktop environments, but for pure applications, and they're consistent, they definitely look nicer than the KDE applications. But yeah, so there's a lot of work gone into the art side of things. I've installed GNOME extensions. I had to install this via the software manager, and this allows you to add other things into your GNOME experience. You can see what they are. Add a category-based menu for applications. So that gives me that up there. So if you need a nice menu, you get that. Window list. You can choose this, and this adds a window list at the bottom of the screen. So it's a way of so you can see which applications are open, and you can move between your workspaces. So there's some of the extensions. Places status indicator. So now up here you've got your list of folders and your drives, etc. Launch new instance. I'm clicking in the dash or the application view. So if I go to the application view, if I open Chrome, you see I've got Chrome, so what I'm going to do is go to BBC. Now I'll go to my website, don't want to get copyright. So this is my YouTube channel here coming up. So now if I go here again and I click on Google Chrome, you'll see it's created a brand new window. Whereas traditionally it would just reopen the one you've already got, and you'd have to right click and do that. So that's what that's doing. You've got this game mode here. It does say extensions can cause performance and stability issues. If you encounter that, just click this and it'll turn them all off. So yeah, the GNOME extensions is a little added feature. And with that, there's also something called GNOME tweaks. So I've installed it. It's not appearing in my list of applications unless I just can't see it. But if I type in tweaks here, you'll see I've got an option. And you can change some of the things here, like your cursors, your background images, etc. Keyboard and mouse settings. You can do a lot of this stuff in the general settings. So if I go here, go to settings, like your Wi-Fi, it's worth pointing out you can do your Wi-Fi in the top right hand corner, right click up there, and then you've got your choices of wired internet or Wi-Fi, and then that gives you your list of Wi-Fi networks. But you in the settings you've got Wi-Fi as well, and you can click these, and then it'll ask you for your password. Bluetooth, appearance settings, notifications, multitasking. So this determines how screen edges work, etc. To summarize Fedora Linux, the installer is rubbish and needs to be replaced. But other than that, the rest of it worked really well. It's the best installation of a GNOME desktop environment that I've seen. It's definitely slicker. The only issue I have with the GNOME desktop with Fedora is that screen recording doesn't work so well, and you might notice during the editing of this video that some things don't necessarily line up properly. That seems to be either a problem with OBS or it's a problem with Kdenlive. So I've tried to stitch it together as best as possible. So from a editing point of view, I found it a bit of a problem. Other than that, installation of things is quite easy. Setting up of the system's easy. It's the installer and maybe the video side of it lets it down a little bit. But would I recommend this to new users over something like Pop OS that I did last time, or Manjaro or Mint? I'm not sure. It's one worth exploring. If you've got a virtual machine that you want to set up, give it a go, try it out. If it's for you, then great. If it's not for you, move on, try one of the other ones. But it's all right. It's not my favourite, but it does work, and it's definitely better than Ubuntu. And that's it. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to subscribe to more content from Everyday Linux User, click that subscribe button. And thank you for watching.